Hello and welcome to Fast Thoughts with me, Wolfgang. Today, we'll be talking about High-Rise Invasion, a manga by Miura Tsuina and illustrated by Oba Takahiro. The series follows Honjo Yuri, a high school girl who finds herself in a strange world where there are skyscrapers as far as the eye can see, connected with suspension bridges and with no way down apart from falling to a grisly death. Stranded atop one of these skyscrapers, Yuri has no choice but to contend with masked attackers, somehow find her brother, who's also trapped in the space elsewhere, and find a way out of the world they're trapped in. The setup is pretty clear and clean, and we're quickly thrown into the action. The so-called masks are all unique, with different weapons and specialities, so the action is pretty varied. As the level of superpowers displayed are not too far beyond human, with a few notable exceptions later on, it remains believable that regular humans are capable of fighting in this strange world. The fights therefore have the right amount of tension and are able to be stylish without going over the top. Here the art really helps its cause, with a fairly simple, straightforward style, which doesn't clog up the fight scenes. It's still good to look at though. But that's a common issue I have with manga with a lot of fights, where you can't really tell what's going on, and that really doesn't happen here. Pretty clean, pretty clear, and just generally very good. The distinct designs of most of the characters allow them to use this simple style to its greatest effect, without anything becoming confusing. That said, when it comes to the less important characters, often they fade a bit too much into the background as a result, because of the less unique designs they have. The story is pretty solid for the most part, starting with Yuri exploring, finding allies and enemies, and fighting masks, before it progresses to her and her team fighting bigger threats and ultimately trying to destroy the world they're trapped in and get everyone out. The individual story beats can, however, come off poorly at times. While a lot of the secondary characters die, particularly early on, we quickly establish a main cast who, despite us being ensured they're in grave danger at several points in the story, always manage to survive. Not that I want any of them to die, but when something happens to one of them to put them in danger, we know they're going to be fine, possibly with a fake out thrown in. It detracts greatly from the sense of tension that would otherwise be very strong here. It wouldn't be so bad if it didn't feel, though, that sometimes they're saved by a part of the world's rules that hadn't been mentioned up until then, or by someone having a power that we just hadn't been told about. Even if it were just mentioned in passing earlier, it wouldn't feel like such a cop-out. Sometimes there is some foreshadowing, though usually it's only a couple of chapters before it comes into play, and sometimes there's just nothing at all, really. Maybe the series will surprise me on this point and kill off some of the major characters at the end. I won't be holding my breath for that, though. Those main characters, however, are really good. While many of them are larger-than-life types, given the situation they're in, it's not that surprising that only certain types of people would survive any length of time. These exceptional characters fit their exceptional circumstances. Yuri meets many normal people early on, and most of them don't last very long. The kill-or-be-killed world, and a world where you're constantly under this psychological torment of having to fight for your survival, the characters do feel real, given they're in that reality, and then they play off each other brilliantly throughout the dialogue. It's a series with strong action sequences and great lead characters, while the background characters are a bit hit or miss, and the danger sometimes feels artificial, or it's not really there at all. This is definitely a series that deserves a look if any of that sounds even vaguely interesting to you. I give High-Rise Invasion an 8 out of 10. I really like this series, and I'm hoping the ending, which is released in Japan but not yet translated, will live up to the quality so far. There's also an ONA series coming out soon, so I can look forward to enjoying the action in animated form, and a sequel manga being written. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more fast thoughts. And if there's something you'd like to hear my fast thoughts on, or you have some thoughts of your own on today's topic, please leave a comment below. I'll see you down there.